Mastering Cybersecurity Governance Framework. Cybersecurity governance frameworks are worthless without a clear purpose and scope. Where does the Cybersecurity Governance Framework, which outlines the organizational policies, procedures, and standards for managing cybersecurity risks, define its purpose and scope within our organization's overall information security posture? As I delved into the world of cybersecurity governance frameworks, I couldn't help but think of the countless organizations that struggle to define its purpose and scope within their overall information security posture. It's a conundrum that has puzzled many a CISO, and I've had the privilege of working with several of them to find a solution. Let me take you back to a particular case study that comes to mind. I was working with a large financial institution, which we'll call Bank X, that had been grappling with this very issue. Their cybersecurity governance framework was lacking direction, and as a result, their security posture was suffering. In our initial meetings, the CISO, Zaylee, expressed her frustration with the lack of clarity around the framework's purpose and scope. "We have so many policies and procedures in place, but we're still getting breach after breach," she said, her concern etched on her face. I sensed a deep-seated desire to get it right, but she wasn't sure where to start. I asked Zaylee to walk me through their current framework, and that's when I realized the problem wasn't the framework itself, but rather the way it was being perceived. The document was a behemoth, with page after page of jargon-filled language that made it nearly impossible to decipher. It was like trying to drink from a fire hose. My instinct told me that we needed to strip the framework back to its bare essentials and rebuild it from the ground up. We started by identifying the key stakeholders involved in cybersecurity governance, from the board of directors to the IT team. We then mapped out their roles and responsibilities, creating a clear chain of command. Next, we established a set of clear objectives for the framework, centered around risk management, compliance, and incident response. These objectives became the North Star, guiding our decision-making as we moved forward. Now, here's where things got interesting. We gathered the entire cybersecurity team, from analysts to engineers, and facilitated a series of workshops to discuss the framework's purpose and scope. The goal was to get everyone on the same page, using plain language to describe what we were trying to achieve. What emerged was a sense of collective ownership and responsibility. The team began to see themselves as custodians of the organization's information security, rather than simply following procedures. This shift in mindset was palpable, and it paved the way for a more cohesive, effective cybersecurity governance framework. As we worked through the framework, I noticed a curious thing. The more we focused on the why behind each policy and procedure, the more engaged the team became. They started to ask questions like, "How does this policy support our risk management objectives?" Or "What's the underlying principle behind this standard?" This line of inquiry led to some remarkable insights. We discovered that certain policies were duplicated or outdated, while others were redundant or contradictory. The team began to see the framework as a living, breathing document, rather than a static set of rules to be followed. Throughout this process, I felt a sense of excitement and curiosity. It was as if we were peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing the underlying dynamics that drove the organization's cybersecurity posture. The team was no longer just implementing policies, they were architects of a comprehensive security strategy. In the end, BankX emerged with a cybersecurity governance framework that was clear, concise, and effective. The scope and purpose were well defined, with a clear chain of command and a set of measurable objectives. But more importantly, the team had developed a deep understanding of the why behind it all, and a sense of ownership that would drive continued improvement. As I looked back on our journey, I realized that this was the hallmark of a truly effective cybersecurity governance framework, one that balances people, process, and technology to create a robust security posture. It's a lesson that I've carried with me, one that I hope will resonate with organizations struggling to define their own purpose and scope in the realm of cybersecurity governance. The purpose and scope of the cybersecurity governance framework within an organization's overall information security posture is a critical aspect that sets the foundation for effective risk management and mitigation strategies. The framework defines its purpose and scope through a clear and concise statement that outlines the organization's commitment to protecting its information assets, ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and maintaining compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards. The purpose of the Cybersecurity Governance Framework is to provide a structured approach to managing cybersecurity risks across the organization, ensuring that information assets are adequately protected from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, modification, or destruction. This includes identifying, assessing, and mitigating cyber threats, developing and implementing robust security controls, and establishing incident response and disaster recovery plans to minimize the impact of security breaches. The scope of the framework encompasses all aspects of the organization's information security posture, including 1. Information assets, all digital and physical information assets, including data, systems, networks, and applications that are critical to the organization's operations, reputation, and competitive advantage. 2. Cybersecurity risks, all types of cyber threats, vulnerabilities, and risks that could compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information assets, including malware, phishing, ransomware, DDoS attacks, insider threats, and physical security breaches. 3. Stakeholders, all employees, contractors, third-party vendors, customers, and partners who have access to or interact with the organization's information assets, systems, or networks. 4. Cybersecurity controls, all policies, procedures, standards, and technical controls implemented to prevent, detect, and respond to cybersecurity incidents, including firewalls, intrusion detection systems, encryption, access controls, and incident response plans. 5. Compliance and regulatory requirements, all applicable laws, regulations, and industry standards that govern the organization's information security practices, including GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, NIST, and ISO 27001. The framework's purpose and scope are further supported by the following key components. 1. Cybersecurity policy, a high-level document that outlines the organization's commitment to cybersecurity, roles and responsibilities, and overall approach to managing cybersecurity risks. 2. Risk management process, a structured approach to identifying, assessing, and prioritizing cybersecurity risks, followed by the implementation of mitigation strategies and controls. 3. Governance structure, a clear definition of roles and responsibilities, including the Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, Information Security Team, and other stakeholders involved in cybersecurity decision-making and oversight. 4. Compliance and regulatory management, a process for ensuring compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards, including monitoring, auditing, and reporting. 5. Incident response plan, a comprehensive plan for responding to cybersecurity incidents, including detection, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident activities. 6. Training and awareness program, a program designed to educate employees, contractors, and third-party vendors on cybersecurity, best practices, threats, and risks, as well as their roles and responsibilities in protecting the organization's information assets. 7. Continuous monitoring and improvement, a process for continuously monitoring the effectiveness of the cybersecurity governance framework, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing changes to stay ahead of emerging threats and risks. By defining its purpose and scope, the Cybersecurity Governance Framework provides a clear direction and guidance for the organization to manage cybersecurity risks effectively, protect its information assets, and maintain a strong information security posture.